the moderator for today's podcast, as well as a speaker in today's podcast. My name is Angela Smith, and I major in science. My guest speaker today is Vanya Tawari. She majors in medicine. Today, we will discuss organic, conventional, and GMO foods. Hey, Vanya.
Hey, Angela.
What do you think about organic and conventional foods?
Well, organic and conventional foods. So, I would say that some major differences to define organic and conventional is as simplified as normal, whereas organic is as simple as natural. Whereas the difference is that in the conventional foods, there is some use of pesticides and other chemicals, man-made fertilizers to grow out the crops and deliver those foods to the consumers. Whereas in organic foods and in organic farming, the main call is when all the natural things are used, such as the everyday sunlight, the natural water, not something as harmful as chemicals or pesticides used to grow the crops fast or quick.
Yes. Okay. What is GMO?
GMO. Well, GMOs are full form as genetically modified organisms, whereas, for instance, one apple that has been taken out one of these genes of theirs that will avoid it from turning the color brown as soon as a week when you cut it down. If you have ever seen it, you have kept it in the fridge or anywhere out. When it's placed and set it out to the air and other outside environment and atmosphere, it usually turns brown. Whereas, as in genetically modified organisms, the other apple would not turn brown and would stay the natural color as it is. Whereas defining GMO is modified.
It's modified. Can GMO be considered organic if it was in organic soil?
Well, talking about organic soil, so what scientists have taken this down as the in this article, can GMO solve the world food crisis by Harry Quintonley? It clearly states that genetically modified organisms cannot be considered organic, as I said earlier, that organic would be natural and GMOs would be modified, so they do not share the equal compatibility. Because when they modify the genes of it and they soil it again to grow the crops out of it, it does not remain organic anymore because it has been manually modified, not the natural process has been taken down towards it.
Okay. In our next segment, we will discuss the history of what we eat. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Ruth Fuller, and I'm a librarian here at Solano Community College, and I want to welcome you to our new Library and Learning Resources building. This library has been built for you. We have many areas for you to study in, from quiet, silent areas to reservable group study rooms, as well as large tables for you to study and work together. We have a textbook reserve collection that holds the textbooks for most, if not all, of your classes. We have computers for you to use. We have laptops that you can check out and take home. We have calculators for you to use with your math courses. We have bones that you can use with your science courses. You can get further information at www.solano.edu/library. This is our virtual library where all of our virtual library services are available, including chat service with our college librarians. Also on this page, you have access to our article databases for scholarly research, as well as our popular magazine service, where you can actually flip through magazines like Sports Illustrated or Time Magazine. We have our ebook collections, we have our film databases, and many, many other resources for you to use for your school needs as well as for fun. Our librarians and staff are here to help you with all of your research needs.
We are back to discuss the history and how it all started, the history of organic conventional, and GMOs. Vanya, when did this start? When did organic become a thing compared to conventional farming?
Well, according to you, what do you think is the most like certain like the timeline where we've made all these improvements in every single form?
Probably the 1900s, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. You got it right. The 1900s. So here, it all began in the late 1900s. Whereas, so the first thing that was genetically modified was a tomato. And it was in the year of 1991 where a scientist, Valentin D, saw this thing that a lot of these stores are having these cost loss, right? Whereas all these tomatoes were the like most selling because every single dish and every single cooking that we use, the most important key is the tomato because it brings that flavor into it. While those tomatoes were all getting rotten as soon as they got to the stores. And the one, even out of those few that were left, when one consumer bought it and took it to home, it's just been a day or two and it would go all bad. Whereas the consumer were having lost of the money because he couldn't or they couldn't make any use of it. Or the store people because they were having those huge loss buying those tomatoes in bundles, but not having the exact price being sold to them because no one was buying those, getting all bad. Where the scientist, the one, came with the solution of it in the year of 1994, in the late 1900s, whereas they had this genetically modified tomato, whereas they have added some gene from this one certain plant that would stop from those tomatoes getting rotten, and it would be delivered to the right place, and where then the consumers and the stores people, from the labor to the transportation, everyone started getting a profit.
Yeah.
Because they were coming more into bundles and wouldn't go back for anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. People were able to hold on to their money longer.
Yeah,
without the food
exactly.
spoiling.
And of course, like for you, right? If you buy something, it'll go bad. That will be not profitable for you. So
No.
what would you choose? Of course, having to save your money.
Yes, I would definitely choose to save my money. Do you feel like the GMO food should be labeled?
Well, a lot about this. There was a huge controversy about it in the year of 2000 and 2001, whereas it all started in the Washington D.C., whereas the people were protesting in the year of 2000 about having GMOs to be labeled, whereas one of these stores started to do it. This was a private store owned by someone, and what they started to do is that whatever came into their stores, they started to call out the companies and ask them, does it have any genetically modified stuff into it? Is it genetically modified or not? And they would label it accordingly. Whereas then this all process followed up into California, getting influenced towards all the United States, but it was denied as a change into the Constitution to be labeled as foods of GMOs, because the main reason was the lack of knowledge about GMOs. What are they like? For me personally, I didn't even know what were GMOs in the beginning of the year until when I got to know about it, started doing more research on it to have the right knowledge where I went deeper down towards it.
Okay.
And I think that led me to the reason why I'm at this podcast today.
Yes.
Of course.
Do you and your family, you guys consume organic foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get a seedless watermelon? Are you ever tempted for the GMO watermelon?
Of course, actually, this is so recent that yesterday, it was just about yesterday when my dad, brought these watermelons from these Trader Joe's store and near down to Fairfield. Whereas when my sister cut it down and brought it up to me and I ate it, I realized that there were no black seeds in it. There were some little seeds which were white. And usually, when you eat watermelon, obviously, even in a drawing, obviously the main note call is that black seed, right? Whereas that was not in the watermelon. So that was quite strange and disturbing, I would like to say. For me, where I went on to Google and researched on it, where I found this article in the COCDC right? Whereas there's the common disease controversial article where by these government provided, whereas then I researched about it and got to know that it's a genetically modified watermelon. And how, scientists grow and went towards it.
Yeah. Was it delicious? Did you throw it away or did you finish eating
I mean,
it?
actually, I think it was definitely genetically modified because it was so sweet and yummy that
Yeah.
I actually loved it. But the matter of fact, I don't know what have they added or taken out that was, maybe important for that watermelon that I'm consuming that is not there anymore. The reason that's leading it to, having no more black seeds. So I think, would you like consume a food that you have no idea about? Like, should you think we have the right? Do you think like we have the right to know what's in our foods?
I think we have the rights to know what's in our food if we're spending money on it.
Mhm.
I think we should, it would be nice to have a better understanding of what GMO is and what they're taking out of the seed, and maybe how the nutrition factor will affect that fruit or vegetable that we're eating.
Of course, I believe, and just that's how it continues to go on. As I just recently watched this movie called Lapita Ladies, which is translated to English as Lost Women. Whereas in this movie, there was the story steered of a woman called Jaya. Whereas in the year 1997, by director Kiran Rao, she wanted to study, whereas her parents were forcing her to get married to an unknown man. Whereas she somehow struggled through it, and then in the year of 2001, she had to be married to a man that wasn't definitely nice to her. But what she wanted to do is study agriculture. Her dad was a farmer, and what she wanted to do is study about the organic farming. And that was her intersecting interest. She wanted to be a successful agricultural farmer, representing organic farms and organic foods, providing the right thing to their audience, to their consumers. Where she was married in the year 2001, and the guy that she was married to wasn't definitely a nice man, and she got separated to him on a train, where she started off living with a strange family, whereas they were also farmers. So one day she noticed, where it comes to the main point, that they're using, trying to use a lot of these pesticides into crops because they see there are a lot of these insects. But what she did then was stop them and went up there and said that no, don't do it. Whereas she said that let's take a natural way of organic farming. And what she suggested was to take an empty bucket, paint it yellow, and put a lot of glue on top of it, and stick it up in the middle of the field. The organic farming is basically the mixture and use of science and common sense, which you can also translate to as physics in the majors of education. Whereas it was just a natural way that insects were attracted to the color yellow, and when they would go close to it, they was definitely trying to sit on it and see what it is. And when they would go there, they would get stuck with it, with the glue.
Yeah, that is one form of organic farming for sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and you would use natural ways to help it out towards everything, avoiding even though spending on those chemicals, right?
I would not. No, I am scared of bugs and insects, and I would spray them with pesticides if I see it on my tomato.
Well, that's an opinion, but natural way would be I would suggest you stuck something up in the middle, just to be safe. So you don't always have to, use those pesticides even to throw them, even if you're scared, because automatically everything would just go and stick up there. So you don't have to bother about ever even going into those crops to spray pesticides and getting bitten by those insects.
Yeah.
But just, those natural ways is what it influences.
Okay. Well, thanks for trying to influence
Yeah.
my idea of
course.
pesticides. In our next segment, we will discuss the impact this has on our health. We will be right back.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
On-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut one. And cut one. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for three. It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock. Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots ever.
the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
Welcome back. We are back to discuss the impact this has on our health, lifestyle, and choices. Hey, Vanya, what impacts do you think these foods have on us?
I think that's the critic. That's the choices that we make in our everyday lives. I mean, what do you buy in your daily lives?
What do I buy in my daily life? I consume a lot of conventional foods.
Like, on a personal note, my family's obsessed with organic foods. Like, everything from banana to eggs to milk to every
It's
single
organic.
thing is organic. Even that orange that is like growing up in our backyard, that's from organic seeds. Everything that we consume from every single thing is organic. And that's it. I think something that my parents consider. And they're always like, they're in their mid-50s and they always want something that's a healthy option for them. I think everyone would want that, something that's better for us. Because I think our body is our most important real estate, our most important property. And that's what, like, outside of our, purchases or our cost or our, taste buds, everything is, worth it to sacrifice.
Yeah.
When our bodies are most important thing.
Our body is the most important thing to us.
Mhm.
Organic still uses things like fertilizers that can be toxic to humans if they're ingested. So when you like organic food, I consume conventional food. I think a real concern would be someone that doesn't consume any of the food. You agree?
Yeah, of course. I think if person is just like continuing on with this conventional setting, I think that it's so much mixed with GMOs, and as they're not being labeled, that you can get a food that is genetically modified, but you're thinking it's conventional because maybe they're in the same price range. Or if you see there's these two bananas, one's a little more expensive, one's not that expensive, you might buy the the less expensive one because you're taking a look at your purchases, right? It's costing you, because also as a student you have to check what's important for you.
Yeah. Do you think that GMO products should be labeled?
Well, as being labeled, as we just discussed, there's a lot of this confusion because we don't know what's going on, right? I think they should be labeled because, as I said earlier, you think you have the right to know what you're eating?
Yeah. I think we all want to know what we're spending our money on.
Exactly, what we're purchasing, what's healthy for us, or what's not useful for us, because we don't know in the genetically modified organisms what things are they inserting in, what kind of injections are they giving the foods, right, to grow fast, to have that not have the certain type of thing in it, not getting color brown, not having those seeds. What's stopping us from having it? We don't know what they have intersected into it. We don't know what cancerous chemicals have they used. And according to the CDCO organization of the government, it is considered that, you see, that we have the right to know what's in our food, but there are some cancerous organisms, the cancerous chemicals that are being used into the pesticides that we don't have any idea about. Even if we have the right to know, we can't know about it because they're not instructed. Because you're reading, see, when you go and check ingredients on the back of that Coke, they don't see everything, they don't write everything on the ingredient. It says like 2 grams of carbon, this amount of CO2, but we don't know what exactly are they using in those products that we're consuming. They can be genetically modified, because now not only the original taste, you see Pepsi's or Coke, such brands have these more of these flavorful taste now. Vanilla drink or orange drink,
Yeah.
right? So where's that flavor coming from?
I think when anything we're buying from the grocery store, how it's farmed in a sense is out of our way. Like, yes, organic, you know that whatever fertilizers they use something natural. But our bodies can only digest so many things, so it could still be toxic to us if we consume it. I think organic provides maybe a less chance of getting an illness compared to conventional foods, a healthier option.
Not only on us, but like, do you think it's leaving an impact on the environment? We're like living around 24/7.
Yes, so organic food, the way it is farmed, it would make our environment more sustainable. The problem with organic food is that it's not conventional food's not even available to everybody. In organic is not, it doesn't produce enough fruits and vegetables that it can be accessible to everyone. Organic does, as much as it can be good for our environment, there are cons that come with it.
Of course, I mean, there are pros and cons to everything, but like, having a lot of these fossil fuels, you can say, all of these once while where you're putting these dangerous cancerous chemical, you can say, when they burn the crops after cutting them over, all the fossil fuels then burn, and goes into the environment that we breathe daily. These insects, these birds around us,
Yeah.
everything have the same thing going inside or outside. It suppresses every single thing from our like plants and the food that comes from those plants.
For sure.
Yeah.
The
And
pesticides are killing our bees. For
yeah,
sure.
of course. This those millions why I think personally the organic's better, because in that normal soil, even if you burnt it, that's just like the natural, just
Sustainable.
yeah, it's sustainable for the environment to gather all. It won't spread too much, of CO2, carbon dioxide, which would be really becoming a huge thing now these days, which is coming from those genetically modified organisms, because we don't know what things have been given to the crops of the soil, what has been added for them to grow fast, whereas we don't know what they add into a salmon for it to grow 2 times fast when you go to normally buy it in a market, and you're not sure that how is it ruining the water environment, the oceans,
Yeah.
that when the salmon has that certain chemical in it to grow faster, we don't know what it's throwing out in those oceans or in those lakes that the water comes from Lake Berryessa to Lake Arrowhead to every single places.
Yeah. It's definitely a domino effect.
Of course.
Okay, to sum up this podcast, should we keep things how they are when it comes to organic, conventional, and GMOs?
Well, to like clarify that, the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, the research they're continuing on throughout the years, that's no matter if it's impacting the environment or the area around us, our health, our knowledge about it, as generations now, or like before now, the only generations that are being taught about this is now generation from high school to middle schools, but like the generations ahead are not influentially taught about what GMOs is. So it'll be like really confusing for them. Whereas I think the knowledge base is what should be introduced here, like to identify what are the changes that they're making into the genetically modified organisms that we consume.
Yeah.
Because we do have the right to know. So I think to advertising this more of what it is, the knowledge that we're representing should be, went ahead and give out more than what it actually is. Whereas in organic, I think, as we discussed earlier in the previous segment, that how I think knowledge base has continued to begin from 2011 to further. and how is it continuing on. So I think people still do have the right to knowledge. As my point of view is here about organic foods, that something that I would like to consume to help my lifestyle
Yeah.
with. Whereas for I think that as we discussed earlier about those like environment impacts it's leaving on conventional foods, the confusion that we're having of what are we choosing? Is it GMOs or is it conventional? Is what should be impactful over there? That's what I think should be better.
Yeah. The more we
Any-
talk about this, I know conventional and organic, and then to throw in GMOs, it's like, well, how do I feel about GMOs? So I'm glad that we're having this discussion.
Yeah, sure. Like to your significance, do you think there's an improvement that should be made?
I definitely think that there's an improvement that should be made. And like you said, now we are more aware of organic, conventional, and GMOs. And I think things will only improve with the more knowledge that we get.
Yeah, of course. Like recently, my grandpa asked me that. Okay, he was just like sitting out there and wondering that my actually cousin had brought in some fruit and vegetables from the store. So he was just like asking me that when he got the bitter gourd and he cut it down. He was just wondering that why didn't it taste bitter? Because that's what it's supposed to be. Right? Where I had to teach him about why are those seeds red? Why are not the other brown natural colors? Where I had to tell him that they are genetically modified. Right? Where I had to share out the information. So I think that's more of the cause of it.
Yeah, passing on the knowledge.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
I just want to clarify something. Because you love organic, do you still consume conventional fruits and vegetables?
I believe so. Because I think every single thing that we want, sometimes we cannot find organic. Like as it personally, what we consume in our household, as of being an Indian, all those lentils and everything that we eat, from those kidney beans to those pinto beans, cooked in our way, it just different to sometimes find the organic stuff.
It is.
Yeah,
organic.
It's
seasonal.
Exactly, because they're also like not seasonal stuff.
They are
Exactly.
seasonal.
I was just like the other day, I was going to Costco and I'm wondering, okay, in December, what are those mangoes doing right there when they're not supposed to be here in that season? So basically, that's all. They're genetically modified. We don't have the right, just knowledge to know about it. Because my dad used to tell me, these are the seasons of the vegetables and the fruits. When I was in the first grade, that's what they used to teach us. Mango indicates the summer. But now, more than summer, mangoes are found in the winters, which is not the actual season for them to grow into
It's
it.
probably not as sweet as if you would have
Yeah,
eaten it in
exactly.
season.
Of course, and that's the huge difference too. And but as I was like, I don't want to eat these mangoes because they don't taste sweet. Well, on a personal opinion, I love those mangoes that are just like salty and all. But still, I think that's not what naturally is being provided, and we're not having the knowledge about it.
Yes. To end this segment, okay. This is the end of our podcast. I am your mediator, Angela Smith. My guest speaker is Vanya Chouari, majoring in medicine.
And that's all for today. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
the only
you.
thing we have to say right now here is stay healthy, wealthy, and wise about the choices that you make to influence the world out about you and just not providing the knowledge about the foods that we eat.
Just eat your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, don't leave those vegetables on the plate. I'm telling you, don't. Those are healthy for you. So eat them. Thank you.
Thank you.